Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm here just with a kind of a crooked camera first and foremost. I don't know what's happening here, but sorry it's crooked. This is gonna have to be crooked because I don't know. Anyway, just kind of a craft with me. I'm assembly lining these cards, and I figured maybe, I don't know, you guys want to watch it because I like watching people make cards and stuff. And so I'm making some thank you cards for anyone who ordered from my Stampin' Up website, TiffanyMcGill.StampinUp.net, in 2022. And making these little thank you cards, which now that I think about it, using the Stamparatus probably would have been a lot easier. But anyway, I'm making this card. So I think it's super cute. Inside I'm going to stamp thank you. Yeah, this is just a card I saw a few examples on Pinterest, and this is my interpretation. And so I'm making 18 more of these. And this is the Cactus Cuties stamp set. And I was going to, just cleaning my stamp off here. Sure, it's, oh, okay, well, it did not clean off. I was going to use the punch, but I decided that's a lot of work for 18 or, 20 cards. So I decided to do stamping right on the base. So I'm mixing Stampin' Up and Jaded Blossom today. My stitched rectangle, Stampin' Up does have stitched rectangles. I just didn't buy them because I have stitched rectangles from Jaded Blossom. So I think I used stitch rectangles 2. No, I used 1. So I used the second rectangle and the stitch rectangles dies from Jaded Blossom. And everything else I just kind of cut on the scoreboard because I didn't need it to be stitched. So I cut all of my Old Olive base pieces. I cut out all of my glossy paper. This is an old Stampin' Up. You can't get it anymore. But I haven't used it. I bought it in 2008 and I'm just now using it and I absolutely love it. And I wish I would have bought more. But of course, if you wait 20 years to use it, that's what happens. And then I ran all of my stitch rectangles through the embossing machine, and I've already stamped the little pot, and I stamped that in Cajun Craze. I'll show you the stamp set. Here's the stamp set. It's Cactus Cuties. And it's a very cute set. I think so anyway. And I'm using this cactus for that. I am using the punch to punch out the flowers. Here's the punch. So the punch punches out this base and this guy and then these, but it comes out a little bit smaller than the stamp, so that way there's no white edge around it. So if you fussy cut it, it's a little bit bigger. So, and I'm going to use this hello. I also used, oh, I meant to get more of these. I used some of these green gems that were gifted to me. They're recollections. I may not have enough, but that's okay. And then I used the brass butterflies, the small ones from Stampin' Up. So it's very quick. I've only been working on it for about an hour or so. And I cut out all the pieces. I cut out the base. This base color is, what is this, Petal Pink, I think? Let me cheat. Let me look at it. Yeah, it's Petal Pink. So that's what I've been working on. Using the Stamparatus probably would have been super easy because the Stamparatus has 2 plates where I could have just one plate stamped this and then use the other plate to stamp that, but I didn't do it. So, and I don't feel like getting up to get it. So I'm just going to, I don't know, I might get up and get it because sometimes this stamp in particular can be a little finicky. And I got it over the pot, which I don't necessarily like, but it'll be okay. Kind of gives it a shadow. But if I use the Stamparatus, then if I don't ink all the way, then I can re-ink it. But you know what? No, I'm not, because I didn't use the Stamparatus for the pots, and so they're not all in the same place. So I can't use it. Now I'm really regretting my choice of not using it. Because I can line everything up, but it's not going to match the pots because they're all in a different position. That's okay. So you just ink it up really well, straight down and straight up. So some of my cacti are going to be covering the pot, some are going to be above the pot, some are going to be spot on. I don't know, it's handmade. And I'm at a really weird angle to show y'all. Let me move this up a little bit so y'all can see the bottom. There we go. So see, this one is kind of, has a little gap. I'm okay with that. I think it still looks really cute. So, yep. This is what I'm going to be doing. Ooh, that one was perfect. And then I just took a little white gel pen and added some movement lines, even though these kind of have movement lines already. On the pot. It's pretty quick. It's very relaxing. I like that the cactus lines are already in there, the white, so I don't have to draw that. Just kind of line it up and just kind of guess. I'm doing much better now that I'm just kind of talking and not thinking about it. You know, if you overthink the placement, then it's just that you overthink it, it doesn't come out right. This, I'm just stamping and going. I'm kind of liking that I'm putting more pressure on the right side, and so it's a little bit darker on the right side. I don't know why it's doing that, but it is a happy accident. Kind of looks a little ombre a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just applying more pressure. I don't know, but I'll take it. Almost done here, and then all I have to do is run my glossy paper through my cutting machine, which I can't do that on camera because my cutting machine is across the room, the big one. I have the little ones right here on my desk, but the big one is across the room, and it's electric, so I have to wait. I'm just gonna do this. This is where you, this is great for, like, you know, when you have like your 15-minute break at work and you just kind of need something to, just to kind of forget what's happening out, you know, outside of the break room. This is a great, great project. You can cut so many things and you can stamp and just kind of relax. Stamping to me is very relaxing. Some people it's not, but for me it is. So, you know, you can choose. Probably wouldn't do this part on my lunch break because, you know, you gotta eat. You're supposed to eat anyway. So, there you go. All my stamping's done. You know, so that's what I'm doing. Alright, next what I'm going to do is go ahead and stamp my little hello. And I'm using my favorite block, the H block, which is this long block. And I'm just going to go for it. Straight down, straight up. Try not to stretch your... Try not to put too much pressure and stretch your letters. So I decided to do all the stamping first before I start doing punching and all of that. Because the hello is, you know, pretty far away from this, so I wasn't worried about placement at all. And if the flowers didn't fit, then my cacti wouldn't have flowers. So it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. And again, if I would have used the Stamparatus to begin with, I could have just lined it all up. Actually, this one I probably could have lined up because it's all just going in the same corner. And then you just kind of ink and go. But I'm not a timid stamper. So for me, it's just as easy to freehand. There are certain stamps that I will not freehand. But these ones are pretty basic to freehand. So, I mean, and then just that, you have to find your comfort level. I'm way more comfortable with this long block, the H block, as opposed to like stamping with this one, which is the D block, or, you know, like the smaller ones. So it's just really your preference. Some people like these thinner blocks too. Oh, here's my itty bitty one. Oh no, that's not it. I lost my itty bitty one, but some people like this. This is the paper pumpkin block. Or like if you buy a kit, you'll get this block. Actually, this is the kit block. The paper pumpkin is even thinner. Some people like the thinner blocks. I don't. I only like the thinner blocks when I'm using it to weight something down, like to... You know, if I glued these little things and I just needed something to hold it down, they're too thin for me. But again, it's your preference. So I'm just gonna chug right along with my stamping here. Just lay them out and keep it moving. Okay, and then I kind of accidentally stamped like this one a little crooked, but I'm okay with that. It just shows that I'm human. I'm not going to redo that whole thing because it's slightly crooked. All the other ones are perfectly straight. My stamp, as you can see, shifted for whatever reason. I must have been putting too much pressure. So I'm not gonna quibble over that. Like, everyone knows it's homemade, you know, and I don't think it's a big deal, because the people I'm sending these to are just going to be, you know, they're going to enjoy receiving a handmade card as opposed to a bill, right? And there's going to be some other little goodies in my pack, so, you know, I'm not gonna worry myself. You know, 2023, we're not worrying ourselves anymore. We're just, you know what, we're doing this to bring a little smile to someone's face, and I seriously doubt that anyone's taking out a ruler and like, oh my gosh, that's 1/8 of an inch crooked. I don't think anybody cares. They're only going to care that you took a second to think about them and you sent them something beautiful, you know? So there you go. That's my 2 cents, if it's worth anything. Alright, so now we just need a layer. We'll do that in a second. Maybe. Okay. Typically, I'm a wet glue type of girl, but when I am doing assembly line, I like to use tape runner, because as you can see, I can put tape runner on a whole bunch of them at one time, and then just go ahead and layer. the wet glue does give you that wiggle room. Like that one was a little bit off, but it wasn't horrible. So I do like that factor. The convenience and the quickness is just, if you are one of the crafters that the tiniest little offage bothers you, then definitely use your wet glue. I used to be like that. If it wasn't exactly perfect, I would just start completely over. Like this one's a little too far over to the left, but it's such a small border that the average Joe is not going to notice that. But yeah, you can try to peel it up and whatever, but for me it's just not worth it. But back in the day, I would have restamped. Well, first of all, there would have been no not using the Stamparatus. Everything would have been exactly lined up. And I would have restamped the whole card because of that hello was very slightly crooked. And you know what? That just drives you insane. Like, then you start to doubt yourself, and then you start to, you know, get all up in your emotions, and crafting's supposed to be fun. This is your relaxation. This is not your stress over something else. You know? Not that. Because even me as a crafter, I don't notice anyone's little tiny cricket, whatever, unless it's like blatant, like, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. When you get the ones and it looks like this, and it's not supposed to, or you know what I mean. So, I wouldn't worry about it. Just have fun, lay it down, don't overthink it. Like that one I was overthinking for no reason. Just make life easy. Ah, I ran out of tape runner. And I think that was my last tape runner. Because like I said, I'm not a huge tape runner girl. And so I don't typically use tape runners. Usually I buy the tape runner refills when I know when I know I'm going to be doing a, you know, assembly line mass production. But this was kind of a last minute type thing. This is the Stampin' Up tape runner that I hated in the beginning, but now that I know how to use it, I like it. Don't love it yet. Maybe I'll get there. But I don't hate it anymore. So that's always positive, right? I do have a refill for this one somewhere in there. So yeah. This sound to me is so relaxing, just hearing the tape go on there. But anyway, oh, I only have 3 more. I'll go ahead and do all this. Yeah, just make sure you have enough room on your work surface. And you remember that they have tape on them. So you don't put something else on top of them. That kind of stuff. Which I have been known to do. I'm sure we all have. Tape runner, here we go. I found my ATG gun, so I'll probably be using that. Well, I knew where that was. I didn't know where the refills were. But I haven't used it in years. Because first I did lose the whole ATG. I guess I should call it tape runner because I don't know. YouTube's going to put me in jail, but that's the name of it. I lost it, then I found it, and then I lost all the refills. And I found them. You know, they were in the adhesive. They were in a box labeled adhesive. So, you know, who would have thought to look there? And that's where they were. So I just have to go on YouTube and look at videos on how to refill it. Because, you know, the thing's a pain if you don't remember what you're doing. And I don't remember what I'm doing, so yeah. But yeah, see, tape runner's super easy. You can just get this assembly line going and, you know, have fun doing it. I know the time right now is only 19 minutes and 53 seconds, but I didn't spend that much more time I think total I've been working on this about an hour now. So there's probably going to be about an hour and a half to make 19 cards. And that's with me designing it. So usually the design part takes hours, I'm not going to lie. Like when I design my cards for my sweet videos, you know, those 4 cards probably took me like 3 or 4 days to come up with, because, you know, we are our own worst enemy sometimes. And I like my cards to be original when I do those videos. Which, you know what, that I think this year I'm just gonna look on Pinterest, get inspiration, and go for it. In the past, I just don't look at any inspiration and just try to come up with my own. But why reinvent the wheel? Right? Alright, so all my layers are done. And I am done crafting for the day. So I'm going to go do the other stuff. Wait, I still have one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, I made 19. Okay. And 20. Okay, fine. So that just gives me an excuse. I can tell you my measurements now. So the, oh wait, is this close enough? The rectangle that I used is, I had a little cheat sheet over here. I think it was 2 1/4 by, where's my cheat sheet? I hope I find it, because I started writing a list on the back of that cheat sheet. Okay, well, let's get a ruler. So the rectangle I used was 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And so my measurement for my green panel is 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. That's my green panel. It's not my green panel. 135. Okay, so I just mismeasured on my board, because it is 3 5/8 that it needs to be. Yep. I mismeasured. That was my fault. I did that shorter than what it was supposed to be. I said the correct measurement, but I didn't cut the correct measurement. Alright, what did I say? 2 3/8. 1, 3 by 3 5/8. 1, 3, 5. Alright, that's the correct measurement. See? Everyone makes mistakes. And I said it like, you know, 3 times, the correct measurement. Alright, so there's that. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut another, my green panel that's behind my brick. And that panel is going to be 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. And actually, oh man, it's just too short. Look at that. Gosh darn it. That's okay. What did I do with that piece of paper? Alright. So 2 1/2. If I would have did my paper the long way, it would have worked, but I didn't. by 2.5 by 5.25. Sorry for reaching over. Make sure I have 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so I need to do one more glossy accents because I'm pretty sure I only did 18. 18. Okay. Yeah, so if you're only doing 18, it works out because you use less paper, but the 19th and the 21, you're going to use about a half a sheet of paper for each, but that's okay because I'm just kind of using scraps. All right. Remove that before that gets destroyed. I'm really tired. We need to go to bed. All right, so this one is going to be 2 3/8 by 5 1/8. Yep. Okay. Perfect. 2 3/8 by 5 1/8. I should probably be writing these down so I could type it in for you guys. That would be nice. Alright, so layer 1, my rectangle was 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. So 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. My layer would be 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. My layer. Okay, so I had to sneeze, and so I turned the camera off and forgot to turn it back on. I was writing. Anyway, so the white layer is 2 3/8 by 5 1/8, and then my green layer is 2 1/2 by 5 1/4, and my base is your standard A2 card, which is the what is this, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Yeah, you know, scored at 4 1/4. So you get 2 bases from one sheet of paper. So those are my layers. My brickwork was done with the Stampin' Up brick and mortar embossing folder. So I will do all of that tomorrow, but the magic of, you know, filming, you'll see that in a second. So yeah. I do need to prep my inside layers. I haven't decided what I want to do for my inside. I know I'm going to do white because I feel that the bottom of your card needs to be the same strength as the top of your card. And so if you're adding all these layers on your top of card, obviously the bottom of your card is a little thin. It doesn't bother some people. You know, I just typically like to have that extra layer. I might use my stitch rectangles and put that in there. I might do some stamping because I also believe in having something on the inside, not just a white piece of paper like a stamp, a sticker. If you're using a paper collection, a piece of paper collection, something on the inside to make the inside just as pretty as the outside. And so I'll think about that and design it tomorrow, which will be in 1 second for you guys, but yeah, I'm going to bed because I'm tired. Okay, so I'm back. It's actually the next day for me, but you know, half a second for you guys. And I went ahead and ran all of my, I just broke my magnet. How do you even do that? Took a chunk out of it. Huh. Anyway, I ran all of my glossy paper through my embossing machine. I also ran all of my insides through my embossing machine. I have a Sizzix, I can't, switch. There we go. So I ran it through the switch, and this is the Jaded Blossoms card matte dies, the biggest one for the inside. It is the 4, I think it comes out 4 by, well, let's just measure it. 4 by 5 1/4. So perfect inside layer for me. I like to have my inside layers have something, so it's just as beautiful as the outside. So I decided that I wanted to stamp this pot and this cacti. I'm assuming that's what it is. I am going to use my Stamparatus for this. Now, Stamparatus, the Misty, the Tim Holtz Travel, I can't remember what it's called. Essentially, they're all the same. They all work the same. The reason why I like the Stampin' Up! Better is because it has 1, 2 plates. So I can do several stamps at the same time, which is really nice. The other great feature about this is that if I wanted to put these little pots going up, you know, just going up the card, look what you can do. All you have to do is pop this out. Of course, mine wants to be finicky. There it goes. And you just move it. Hold on, I'm trying to stay in frame here. You just move it to the next position. So you skip this bottom and you go here, and now you are completely, you know, going to your next pot. Then you need to go to the next one. You skip it, and then it comes down. Obviously, mine's not doing it because I haven't clicked it in, but, and then again, you keep going up, skip it, and go down. So it'll be perfect placement, all lined up even. So I do like that you can remove the arms. The same thing with this one. You can remove it and, you know, just go from there. So, okay, I do not need any of this to fall. Let me move it out of the way. Okay. There we go. Now I'm in frame. Alright, I'm going to use... definitely going to use Cajun Craze for the pot. And maybe I will use a darker green for the cacti inside. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. So, I have my placement where I wanted my pot. So this is all I did. I put my paper down. I like to do corner to corner. Some people actually use the grid and line it up. I just craft easy. Put it in a corner. That's where I want it to stamp, maybe a little bit higher. Fold it over. Give it a good push. Alright. And then we need the placement for the cactus, right? But I can't see it, so I need to ink this up first and stamp it, and then I'll place... this is going to be awkward to try to stay in frame. It's really not this hard. It's just when you're trying to do a tutorial and stay in frame, you're at awkward angles. The thing I'm using to push is from Sweet Sentiments. It's called an espresso. So it's a coffee presser. It's like the, what are them things that you use to play air hockey with? It's kind of like that. You can obviously use your hands, but I like using that guy. Alright, so that's where my pot's going to be. So I want my flowers to be lined up right about there. So now I'm going to take my top lid and I'm going to mush that in like so. Okay, line my paper back up because I've never used that stamp, so it's still sticky. I'm going to get my other ink pad, which I think I'm going to get my Stampin' Spots it's easier to use your smaller ink pads. Let me see what colors I have. I don't have any green. So this is what I'm talking about. Use your smaller, your Stampin' Up, Stampin' Spots, your Tim Holtz little guys. It's easier. Alright, sorry, I know I'm in the camera, but I was trying to prevent that. Well, you can't see it. I was trying to prevent it from getting on my thing because I don't want it to smush on my card, but it shouldn't. Okay, so I'm going to close this because I feel like I'm going to get it everywhere. There we go. So it's perfect. I like it there. You know, if you want to move it down, you can figure it out, but I think that looks super cute. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp all the other ones, because at the tutorial, at this angle, it's very awkward for me, so I'm not going to do this on camera, because I do need to move some stuff around on my desk. So anyway, so that's just what I like. You know, it's going to be easy, ink, boom, boom. I can do all the cards with the pot first and then come through and do the plant, or I can do the plant first and come through with the pot. It doesn't matter because they're going to be lined up perfectly, right? Okay, let me stamp all these out. All right, so I smudged 2 of them because I had ink on my hand. I didn't know it. So I'm going to try to fix it so I don't have to recut. This one's easy. You could just sign your name over that little smudge. I'm not too worried about that one, but this one, it's a little smudgy. So, you know, I'm going to try something before I throw this away. So I'm just taking a different ink color and just kind of trying to make it look like it's supposed to be like that. I kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe, you know what I can do? And again, you know, just experiment, because you're gonna toss this one anyway, since you had the smudge, or if you didn't care about the smudge, you know, you're gonna send it out. So I'm gonna try this. Here we go. Okay, I like that. Nice little tall plant, and you can't see the smudge. It looks intentional. Like I said, this one I'm not worried about because I'll just sign my name right over that. But this one, I think it looks super cute. Actually, I kind of like that. No, I'm not going to do it to all of them, even though I kind of want to because I really like that. And I'm a card cheater, so the more I have on the inside, the less room you have to write, because, you know, like sometimes you don't know what to write. But these ones I do know what I want to write, but I'd really like that, actually. Nice little tall plant. But I'm not going to do that to all of them. So, alright, so now we just gotta assemble everything. I'm just cleaning off my stamp. Sometimes I use my chamois, or sometimes I just use my well-loved cheap face paw. You just have to be careful. You have to have the towels that don't have like lint and stuff, like the lint-free towels, because your stamp will get the little lints and stuff on there. Like, I don't know if you can tell on this one, it had lint on it from the paper. It had like a paper thing, and so you know, with the polymer stamps, you have to be careful they don't get little, see, like there's a little paper thing that was on there. So, paper shards, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, so let me, I gotta find my tape runner refills, because I typically use tape runner on white paper, because I don't like to see glue lines. And white, sometimes you can see glue lines. Do the Stampin' Up white, you cannot, but I don't know if this is Stampin' Up white or just regular white. I just stick it all together. But for this one, the 3D embossing folders, I would not recommend using tape runner. I don't care what color you use because it's 3D, and so some of the card is popped up, some of it's popped down. I highly suggest glue, wet glue, just because it can get in there in those nooks and crannies. You know, your tear tape is going to work as well, but I think your wet glue. And also the second reason for wet glue is because when you use these 3D embossing folders, it pops up pieces of your paper, right? And so your measurement does shrink a little bit, so it can be off in any direction. And so you need to be able to have a little bit of wiggle room to get that layer piece exactly where you want it. You know, you may have to make it a little crooked to make it look straight, right? If that makes sense. So that's why I prefer wet glue when using a 3D embossing folder. Any of the brands, I do that. And really get it in. Use something, your bone folder, your espresso, your hockey puck, whatever you have to get that in there. You don't have to buy anything expensive. Alright, so these are my last of these ones. Oh, and stamping all of my cacti took me 39, 44, 42, 43, 44, 45, 6 minutes using the Stamparatus once I had moved the camera out of my way. So that's not bad at all. So 19 stamps in 6 minutes. That's not bad at all. Alright, so let me find my tape runner. Okay, so I got my ATG machine refilled. May from May Made It did an amazing video on how to refill these things about 8 years ago, and it is so easy to follow to get your machine refilled. And I'm glad I saved her video because you know, there's a couple other ones that were a little difficult, but hers I got right in there. So I'm just going to assembly line like I did the other things. These are the inside pieces. So I'm just going to, you know, do a couple of them. Oh gosh, that one was way off. It does take a second to get used to using this because it's so big and bulky. I think that's why I stopped using it. I couldn't remember why. And now I'm remembering, because it is so big and bulky and I'm not really liking it. But I don't have any other tape runners, so I mean, you see it's easy enough to use, but I keep not getting it on the corners because I'm just trying to go super fast. So you do kind of have to pay attention and take your time with this, but oh well. Alright, so I have a couple done. I don't have anything on my bases yet, and so I just know on the inside it's going to be the right hand side. So you can, you know, do all of yours flat if you want to, or you can go ahead and I'm just making sure there's no overhang. You can go ahead and varnish your cards. I like to put mine down and then varnish. It doesn't, I mean, honestly, it really doesn't matter. So some people like to do the outside of the card first, then the inside, or, you know, whatever you want. If you want to go ahead and varnish all your cards and then throw your panel, that's up to you. And then also I like to do the insides because hold on, I don't know why I can't do two things at once today. I like to do my inside panels first, and then that way I know if the card needs to be upside down or not. If that makes sense, probably not, but the workings in my brain usually don't make sense to anybody else other than me. So you just make sure, again, make sure there's no overhang. ATG tape is easy to erase if you forget to check it and you have a little overhang. Watch, it just comes right off. That's what I do like about it. So there you go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do all of mine and be... But you know what? Here is the other thing too. Some of my paper was like 1/8 of an inch bigger. I thought I checked all of it, but I didn't. I've noticed that a lot lately on various brands of paper, that it's not 8.5 by 11. It's like 8 5/8 by 11 1/8, or you know, one or the other. So double check the size of your paper too. Maybe I'll fold all mine first, because here's another one that is too, paper was too long. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Because you see how easy it was for me just to move that fold 1/8 of an inch. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and make sure all of my cards are going to fold out evenly. And then I will tape in my insides, tape in my outsides, and then we're done. So not too bad. Okay, so I taped up all of my layers and just adding them on. For me, it's easier to put my paper at an angle. Of course, all of my other ones went on perfectly fine. The second I turn the camera on, I don't want to do it, but whatever. I don't know, I'm better at putting things straight if they're at an angle. Okay, so now for my final layer, my cactus layer, on one of the cards I glued the overhang on this one, a lot of overhang I didn't pay attention to. I glued the entire panel down, and then on one of them I popped up the right side with dimensionals, and it didn't really look any different, so I think I'm just going to save the dimensionals and just glue it completely down, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here they are. This is just glued down, and this is with the dimensionals on the right. The reason I put the dimensionals on the right is because you know, the left side is on 2 layers of paper and a 3D layer, but it didn't really matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue them. Again, I'm using white glue because of the glossy accents paper, the glossy paper. I feel like the glue is going to be a better medium to use. And you can always play with your placement. If you want your layer to be, you know, in the center, you can have it like this. If you want to have, you know, more, you can have it all the way over. You can, you know, whatever you want, really. It's your card. I just really love that brick embossing folder on the glossy paper, so I want to show a lot of that. And you know, your color combinations are your personal preference. This card would have been super cute too, and if I would have did Cajun Craze here instead of white, I think that would have been really cute. I just really wanted that glossy brick. So yeah, so I'm going to glue these all on. Okay, so all of my cards are put together like this. I stamped my stamp on the back of all of them. I forgot to do that first. I usually do that first, but it doesn't matter. I cut out all my little flower things. So what I did is I took a, I cut my paper down to 1/2 inch strips. So this was like 1/2 inch by 11. And what I did was I just lined it up with the punch and punched it out this way. So that way I didn't have any extra waste or pressure or anything like that. It was very easy just to punch a whole bunch of them out. You know, just kind of lining it up in there. So that's what I did. So all we have to do now is you can glue or use a glue dot or tape runner, whatever you want, to get these little flowers on top of your card. I'm going to go ahead and use the U-Pick tool by Stampin' Up. And I'm going to add my glue and then my flower. There is entirely too much of this sticky stuff. Okay. Now you can, you know, assembly line is do all of your flowers first and then do your gems, or do, you know, your flowers and your gems at the same time, but I'm going to do all my flowers and then all of my gems. Alright, and here are my last two. This is how I did it. I did 2 at a time, just so, you know, it was a little bit faster. Depending on what glue you use, you do have time to, you know, get it how you want. And then we're just going to go ahead and take out our gems, which in this case I chose the butterfly and the little green gems that were gifted to me. So again, you have your options. You can do all of your butterflies at once and then go back and do all of your green gems, or you can just, you know, do it how you want. For me, I have to see what I like better. If I feel like doing all of the butterflies first and then all of the gems, I don't know, just whatever you want. And then our cards are done. These tiny little ones. Our cards are done, but we still have to stamp our envelopes, and then we're done. So I don't have any envelopes. I ran out and didn't realize it, and so I can't show you the envelopes, but I am going to just stamp probably the same cactus that's inside. Inside of my card, I'll probably just stamp that same cactus on the outside of the envelope. So there you are. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.